We're cutting like 45%.
Okay, this is Lorain County Board of Commissioners Budget Work Session, Board of Elections.
Hey, morning, thanks for coming in today.
Morning, Commissioners.
Yeah.
Morning.
Like we said, this is just basically a work session to make sure that we're all hopefully on the same page. And you guys seem to be working well with our budget director, so that's good. I don't know. Does this board have any? Do we have any questions? I got some questions I want to get going on, but do you guys have anything first, or?
No, you could start and just add one macro question.
Okay. There's a lot of issues that is this on? Okay, there's a lot of issues that I see, and that we're working on. Last week, we voted to do a space study analysis. In fact, it's kind of crazy. Back 25 years ago, we actually had two boards of elections, you remember?
Correct.
And I kind of was involved in that decision to combine it. And then you guys seems like you may have outgrown that by acquiring the Gargis Hall, in which the Port Authority's been covering that. And that's not included in your budget.
Correct.
Okay. So what we're going to be considering, one of the things is the studies are going to take a look at efficiencies in our county government, and one of them is going to be your offices, because I think there's a lot of waste going on out there. Not your part, but because of the property that we have, such as Gargis Hall and your building. Do we combine them? Do we have enough square footage to facilitate what you already do, and make it a little bit more efficient? But other than that, I just want to at least put that on your guys' radar, as the company that we did vote on and hire will be coming out to your facilities to go over more like your needs. So if you could keep an eye on why you have Gargis Hall, with the equipment that you do have stored there, and the training hall facility that you guys are doing for our the people that volunteer or get paid to help out on our election days. If you can keep that in mind as they come out and talk to you, I'd appreciate it. But
Sure.
I don't have too much. That's all. I just wanted to.
I met with Karen and Dan
Yeah.
and showed them what our needs are over at Gargis, but the building is in disrepair.
Yep.
Right.
So.
Yes, we're trying hard not to put money into things that don't pay back, that
Right.
we might not even hold long enough. My question is just concerning since I've been here, the Board of Elections, the expenses go up and down based on what kind of election is. Is it
That is correct.
presidential, is it off year, is it governor's? And yet the decrease from 24 to as we looked at the trend, we haven't seen in the salaries, we haven't seen a lot of those spikes and drops and stuff. It appears to be pretty steady. So in your salary account, is that just the regular staff or does that also include the election day workers, poll workers, and so forth?
Poll workers are separate. They're in the other expense budget, halfway down. Booth worker services,
Well, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that does include our part-time folks.
One of our biggest increase in the employees that we found in gubernatorial and presidential years is that we've been having to employ sheriff deputies for on-site coverage during the early voting process, which is added to our employee budget there, right?
Yeah.
And the rationale for that?
Pardon?
What was occurring that you needed to have sheriff's?
Mostly campaigners were being a little more aggressive towards voters coming in.
I could probably answer that all by myself.
And,
I know.
and Marty might have was.
Yeah, there's a lot more confrontation outside between either the political opposites or, even the voters.
We'll just call them agitators.
Yeah, people get very irritated quickly. And it's needed. I could see it.
And when you do have a deputy on site, it all goes away.
Yeah.
Well, Okay, let me ask you this. So do you guys compensate the sheriff's office for that?
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
Interesting. How do you compensate them? Since we're all using the same general fund.
It's on our payroll, yes, we pay them.
Through payroll or
Mhm.
through another account?
No, it's under the employee.
So you guys add them as employees of the Board of Elections?
It's my understanding, yes.
Yeah, we
Are they
compensate.
there other than election times?
Well, they provide coverage normally like on election day. That's part of their duties under statute. But the period during the early voting kind of goes beyond. Sure, you could call them and they'd be out there, but we found that we pretty much had to have them there at all times.
Are you guys, are they being paid overtime, are you aware of?
Yes.
Yes,
So are you guys paying the overtime then for them?
Mhm.
yes.
And they're getting regular salaries as a sheriff deputy, is that what you're
Yes.
telling me?
I would guess.
Okay, no, this is, no, it's just interesting, so.
We're just trying to find out who's in what's, what and who is in whose budget.
Mhm.
So,
Sure.
so you're paying the general fund for that sheriff.
Well, yeah, it's coming out of what we give them, general fund money,
Yeah.
right?
Right, and then,
They're the overtime, we're the
And they're
overtime.
getting overtime.
Yeah.
mhm.
Hmm.
And this is only in even year elections that we've had to do this.
Even year?
Yes.
And you find as there's more controversial issues on the ballot, it gets even more exciting.
Yeah, there's times you've had two officers there, mainly the election day, I think. You've had two, or maybe a couple days before.
Mhm.
So you'd have one inside and one outside.
Normally, it's just one that they'll stay outside for a while and then come into the office. And then if there's a need, they go outside.
Yeah,
Is
I've
there-
seen two officers there at one time.
What? And who
Well,
watches?
maybe that's election day, but
Well, no, I think probably on busier days I've seen that. What I'm wondering is like, so who's watching the outside box, drop box? I've seen there's usually been a deputy card there too.
You watch that, that's under 24-hour, 7 days a week,
Videos there.
camera surveillance, and it's even on our website that you can view it.
So can you let me ask you this question, is there, because this is not for today, but can you work with Casey and break down how much out of the employee expenses that you have here to cut out, because really should be, I would think, should be considered security and should probably be should be cut out of the budget. Casey, do you see kind of what I'm asking?
I do, yeah.
Okay, if you can work with Casey and,
Yep.
and get some of that, because then what I'd like to know is if you're doing that, then out of your employees, is that really counting, are you taking into account the PRS, and the medical and everything else?
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to get a number, like, for example, we were working with the sheriff in regards to the fair, and he got it right down to like 39,800, whatever that number
Mhm.
of security that it costs the county to provide for the fair board. So I'm kind of the same thing, I'm looking for what they do for you, so we can find out what that number is.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I think it would give us a better idea of, the Board of Elections versus security, that's all. I think it just should be another
Yep.
line item, that's all.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Well, the increase appears to be moderate, from 25 to 26 in the ask. We established in 24 when we approved the 25 budget, okay, that 25 budget was going to max out what we thought we had, and that they should be prepared in 26 for the same amount of money, because we were anticipating our tax revenue to be flatter, okay? We forecasted that there would, and forecasting could have gone either way, but it turns out it's true. Our sales tax revenue is flat, it's a major source and stuff. So as we look at the budget, have you folks looked at a plan that says what happens if we have to get back to exactly the 25 budget? Are you able to consolidate polling places and have less polling staff? Are you able to, I know you guys have that practice, which is legendary good, and that is that you have a Republican and a Democrat for every function. Okay, but is there an opportunity since most of what your expenses are is salaries, is there an opportunity for savings in the salaries or in the poll workers that would get us back to 0 increase over 25?
Well, we have had lost some key staff positions that we're currently trying to get filled at the moment. In fact, you'll see that we are returning some employee funds after we close out this year.
How much do you think you're returning?
I think it
Ballpark.
was,
I'm not-
yeah,
oh.
somewhere around 200,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see you have a new director who's in the paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
It was a strain, let me tell you.
But you guys have been averaging just around 3%, you know, increase in there, you know, now you're looking at 12.3.
Well, last year's budget over the year before is a 30% increase.
Oh, where?
And the change from 25 to
Oh,
20
okay, I'm looking
for
down
the
at the
other.
bottom.
to 6.
I was looking at total annual budget.
The blue line. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's minus 22, so you guys, it depends on the election year, right?
Correct.
So,
So they got a big jump going for next year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I was
It's a
talking about,
10%.
Marty, was this is a local election. I would have expected this to be down quite a bit,
I'm gonna show this
but
on
it
the
was
screen.
still
Okay, go ahead.
it was still a 10%, 24 to 25, which was presidential. I would have expected it to go down in 25, but it didn't. And then it's up in 26, which is understandable because that's going to be a gubernatorial election. So those are doing better, but it doesn't seem like we're achieving any reductions in the local election year that would explain the increases in the presidential or governor's years. And I know that there are certain pieces of the budget that we are mandated by law to fund, but we're still asking if there are ways to, create some economies and do that, because any dollar that we give you over 25 is gonna have to be a dollar we took from somebody else.
Sure.
Did you show it up on the screen?
I did.
Well, I do know, like
You
I
want
say,
it
we
again?
need more
Oh.
personnel when it comes to handling, like, the absentee and the early voting process.
Yeah, that'll go up with the gubernatorial, just from the trends. Post-COVID, more people are voting absentee in the bigger elections. Voter turnout is gonna be bigger in the gubernatorial, as you can expect. Plus, we have aging equipment that we need to service and take care of, and those costs, unfortunately, those go up as well, so.
You guys have been pretty steady on that, though, from what I see in here. Your equipment lease is real steady.
Yeah,
But I know you can't budget for this, but what just recently happened with Oberlin? You know, that's gonna be a cost now, and how are we gonna pay for that?
Well,
I know that was a big sphincter clap I heard, but, I mean, it's a mistake, it's an error, but what I'm wondering is, how much do you think it's gonna cost? Because all you're looking at just Oberlin, correct? To run a special
Well,
election there?
it's,
Or are you guys gonna add it in May?
still for.
and there again, this is all subject to board approval and stuff, and also with the library. Like this year, there was a lot of stuff on the ballot, and then you have chargebacks where each of them pay a part of the pie. So if that's wrote up.
I read that we're gonna, and I think it's fair to say that the Board of Elections should pay for it, I get that, but I'm wondering, are you gonna do a special election, are you gonna add it in May, or do you think?
It would probably be added in May.
Okay. The special would have been more, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
If you guys have anticipated that or not, that's what I was trying to find out. But if you do it in May, it sounds like it wouldn't be that much of a dent in your budget.
Correct.
no.
Okay, That was my question, cause, okay,
Yeah, if special elections can get expensive.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is your criteria for the billing of people for holding the election? Because the revenue stream is only a couple $100,000 in, but you've got $2 million out.
Are you saying as far as what the jurisdictions have to pay?
Yeah.
Right.
It's based off of per precinct. And you look at the poll worker cost, the printing cost, everything in general that's related to that. I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000, $4,000
Roughly something like that, yeah.
a precinct.
Okay.
And then, like I said, if you want to take like Oberlin, they had city candidates, township candidates, 2 city municipal issues, 2 school issues, and all of them is divided up equally. And then that's money that the county will get back next year.
What part of the ballot do you bill for? Just the local stuff?
And I don't have it memorized. In a odd year election, there's a lot more you can charge for, like overtime cost.
Legal advertising.
It's a pretty extensive list. It's in an odd year. Now, going into next year, you're pretty limited to only being able to charge back just your legal advertising and your printing costs.
So the general fund would bear all the rest of the election expense?
Right, right.
Was it in 2020 we got that money from Meta? Facebook?
Oh,
Zuckerberg? Was that 2020 we got that?
Yeah, from, yeah, I forget the name of it exactly, but Zuckerberg was the one that funded it, which we were able to acquire some equipment we otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford, but it's really helped us out.
Okay. What are you hearing with Columbus with the early voting? Do you think that's gonna get some legs? Are you looking at maybe stopping that? There seems to be a lot. Have you heard anything about that? Cause you guys are more in tune with that than we would be.
Haven't really heard, the only thing I've been hearing is about setting a deadline to end all returning ballots
Right, if you don't have it in by
by 7:30,
on election day, then it doesn't count.
and it don't count.
Okay. I knew there's something down there coming, and that's, okay.
It's still kind of confusing when you think about what you're gonna do with the military
Yeah.
ballots or the people that are given an opportunity to correct their deficiencies. Like I say, for us, it really doesn't.
I don't think they want to mess with the military.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Commissioners, if I may. So, under the special revenue, there is, under the EISA grant, there's like $400-some thousand cash that's sitting there. It looks like it has been sitting there for the last, I don't know, several years.
Right.
I don't know if that were, what were some allowable uses of those funds.
What's the handcuffs on those funds, I guess? is the
You know, I'll have to get with Casey and
Darcy.
our there. I was not aware that there was
Yeah.
money sitting, and I'm not even sure what this EISA account is, but it does look like a sizable amount of money.
So we know you're on the hot seat because you didn't have this job at the beginning of this process.
So we're not here to, we just wanna find out information, so.
Sure.
If, what we're looking for in that, what Casey's, get with Casey is, I call it handcuffs, whatever, what can you spend the money on? Can we use it maybe to offset some of the expenses this year for
Poll
security?
workers, maybe.
For what?
Poll workers, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, or for the sheriffs to pay for the security instead of your salaries, I don't know, So stuff like that is what we're looking at everybody's account. If you notice, there's 3 accounts there.
Right.
You know, one has $700, the other one's $3,100, so.
Yeah,
If you guys could get with Casey and
Yep.
then he'll get with us,
absolutely.
then we would appreciate it.
You're pretty steady on your expenditures.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Casey, on revenue trend 21 to present, do those numbers prior, they don't have hospitalization in them, correct?
That's correct.
And so when I look at the 25 budget and then the 26 budget, how much of that is hospitalization?
Of the increase,
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
a 48% increase, almost 49% since 21.
$500,000.
oh, I see what you're saying.
And
So
what-
if you go all the way up to the top, their hospitalization is a little over $500,000, but the change from 25 to 26 looks to be pretty modest. But their hospitalization comes out to was budgeted for 510 this or 511,000 this year and 520,000 next year. So
Okay.
that's what their
'Cause
hospitalization
one
is.
of the
about
things
half
we're looking for is that the staffing, you know, where we were prior to COVID, and then in came a lot of money flowing around from federal money and stuff, and so some of the payrolls got bloated, and we were looking to get back to, you know, the life as we know it previous to COVID money. But that trend of 48% increase for the Board of Elections since is higher than almost all the other departments.
You know what, though, wasn't there also, we canceled an election was that 21? We canceled it during COVID. It was a May primary.
Oh, that was a
In-
disaster. We spent
in
probably
20,
more money. Yeah, 2020.
2020, yeah, they canceled it and went to an all-male election.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a disaster. But we got it done.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
hey.
got awesome staff.
Well, yeah, I won, so that was great. Well, I lost, we disagreed with you, you know?
So Jim, from your seat, you know, has there been a big increase in the head count?
No.
Between 21 and 25?
No, we're, it's been 18 full-time staff
Is
members,
that roughly what you have, 18?
Yeah.
not counting the directors.
But Jim, you're not currently at 18.
I think we are at 18.
Oh, I thought there were
That was
still a
Jason
couple
leaving.
spots you were
Fall
looking
back.
to fill.
Yeah, well, we do have, we've lost a couple positions due to retirement, leaving our
Jason.
employment, and they happen to be higher level there, so we're giving those positions an extra scrutiny. A lot of times we'll hire part-time individuals to get a look at them before the board.
But you said that you got to fill them, and you have 18 full-time now. Does that mean that you're adding more staff to
No,
the 18,
no,
or
the-
taking,
the-
you have 2 or whatever
The
less?
vacancies are in that group.
Oh,
Oh, are
okay.
they? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I
I have
just text
no more
Tony, he said if he wants to get here early, he can.
But going into a gubernatorial year, that they have to be filled, because in our business, just like the Oberlin issue is a good example, you need people who are good at reading and proofing.
Okay. And, you know, and if you look at the spreadsheet we provided, I was looking for the exact thing that caused my concern, and that was that from the 24 spend, which was a presidential year, but the personnel expenses went up 21% from 24 to 25, which was an off year.
That number though, that does include, that's the year the hospitalization
Yeah,
jumped.
that's when we added in the 474.
The
Okay.
apples to apples is right below that.
Right below it's, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
2311 to 2244. So
Okay.
that's, yeah.
Well, the bigger these spreadsheets get, the smaller they get.
Trust me, I know.
Forgot your magnet, you have that big magnet.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering where that was.
I'm due to get my eye surgery in January, so I'm trying to get through Christmas without it.
Okay.
Mike and I are going cross-eyed over here, looking at all these spreadsheets, putting all them together. So,
Okay, I have no
Yes.
further questions,
No.
and again, if you would go back and revisit and see if there's any way that you can help us get back to your 25 budget.
Sure.
If everybody did
Or
that-
below.
Below, ideally.
Well, the 426 sitting in that account, you know, if you can
We'll,
figure out where that's at.
we'll check on that. We'll
might
get with
help out,
Casey.
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
It's-
And come back to 2021.
Yeah, because, you know, even what we approved in 25 was a stretch, because the auditor gave us his estimate for revenue. We added, based on history, we added about $4 million to that. And it looks like that's about where we're at this year, is he's predicting pretty much the same level of revenue as 25. And we're adding about the same fudge factor and holding, but we're trying, if we have to dip into reserves because we missed our estimate, that's one thing, but we're not trying to budget based on deficit spending.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in.
Yeah,
Great,
thank
yeah.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on getting a new boss. I read the resume in the news.
Okay.
Today is Monday, November 24th. County Commissioners Budget Work Sessions, Lorain County Prosecutor.
Morning, thanks for coming in.
Morning.
Appreciate it. Morning, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Okay.
First question, I'm gonna ask it on behalf of the new commissioner and hide the fact that I can't remember the last time that we discussed it, but tell us what the 4E and the
Oh, okay.
Those
4D and
two.
4E?
4D, 4E.
4D is child support, so those are the ones those are contract positions to cover. I think there's a state formula where 66% gets done by them, and 4E is children's services. So those monies, and I noticed you guys had it going up. Children's services is mainly because we're asking them to pay all of it. I spent the last year trying to get used to what my predecessors did, and they were supplementing that contract with about $134,000 worth of general fund money. So I'm removing that, and that's why it's going up, because we're asking for all of it from the actual 4E accounts.
And that money is what, state
Yes.
or levy?
Yep. Both.
Both?
So, yeah, the way they pay us currently is, it was a double account. One of them didn't give us much, and then the other one was the makeup account from it. We're trying to change it so it's easier to account for into one account only.
So even though those accounts may be going up, that's not gonna be general fund money, that's gonna be either state or their own levy money.
Right, I think you guys front it, and then it goes back to you is how it works.
Is that, we advance it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's reimbursed, yeah. So it would come in the revenue side. So the increase
On
is
both D and E or just E?
Both.
Okay. Do we know how much of that's coming in on levies? You know that breakdown, or
I do not know.
Casey, do you
Um,
know how much of that's levy?
I don't know the breakdown. I don't know how that money comes over from.
It's
but
tied to millage, I know that
Right.
much, because being on the Budget Commission, I remember they were 14 million is what they were at a carryover at one point, which they have decreased some of it at this point.
And then child support, I assume that's for legal services concerning delinquent child support and litigation, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's for contempts, it's for all of those things, the litigation. I think we are having good relationships and good conversations with them.
Okay.
That's with Amy Price.
Now, what is children's services?
Children's services is when kids are neglected, dependent, or abused. That's Kristen Fox Berkey. They work through plans, reunification, drug testing, and they deal with, our prosecutors actually do the prosecuting for them when they go to court. Like an emergency custody order or something like that, we have to go to court for them.
Okay, what, how is this affected, do you provide the guardian ad litem for the,
No, the courts pay for guardian ad litems.
okay,
They're not aligned with either party. They're supposed to just give advice to the court on where they think things go. They may be aligned with Children's Services, or they may be aligned with the defense, depending on what the placement needs are. They go look at the houses, they see if there's adequate food, they
Right.
look at backgrounds and stuff like that. Now, we do work with them in providing them information so they can do those things, but they are not paid by us.
does that answer all your questions, Marty?
Not all of them yet.
I mean concerning the 4D and the 4E,
Yes, absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, those are contract positions. There's not a lot I can do with those.
Because my daughter is a social worker, and I know the steps, and plus I know Kristen Fox, and I know Chris Gavitt, so.
Right.
Very familiar
Well,
with
we're
their
concerned
accounts.
like anybody else in Lorain County would be about the services and so forth, but for the purposes of today, if they don't impact the general fund, it's just interesting information.
The way we have set this up was to stop it from having an effect on the general fund by the extra money that my predecessor had started to pay out to people, and asking them to fund all of the positions themselves.
Again, this is one of those concerns that the public needs to know, though, that if this money's coming in from levy funds, then the prosecutor's office is gonna have a problem, because that means if levy funds go away, property taxes go away,
Correct.
then he's gonna have another $1.5 million that's probably gonna have to pop up out of our general fund. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Your point remains, Sam, that there's obviously how.
Yeah, but as I'm looking at like, okay, can we replace levy funds? I was thinking based on the 25 million that we actually get in, that doesn't include this kind of stuff.
Right.
So as I'm starting to look at, if we do lose it, as for our county commissioner to
Right.
have a plan B, you know, this is stuff we haven't,
Yeah.
you and I haven't talked about, is it?
Yeah, this service that the prosecutors provides to children's services, that's one more area where children's services will have to find, should that levy go away, should those levy funds go away, they have to find a different way to fund that, yeah.
Okay. And the next macro question would be we're looking at the special revenue funds for each of the offices and electeds, including the ones that we have directors. And the question becomes on the delinquent taxes that you get, are those available in such a way that they could be used to defer some of those could be used to defer some of your income?
If you look at what we did this year, we would have a total of 692,000 going towards employees, including their health benefits and the rest of it to try to defray. That's the maximum we can come up with that we're allowed to do under a law, because it has to be people that are actually working in those areas. Some of Ms. Prue's salary would be deferred by that. We have one prosecutor that actually works completely only on DRETAC, his entire salary. Secretaries that do part-time, partial times, and are over a couple areas, so we increased it substantially.
So that is generally, that revenue stream is supposed to be dedicated to collecting the delinquent taxes?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, the balance is up to like, looks like as of October, 2.5 million, that's why.
Correct,
if you're-
yeah.
If you're only spending 692 of it, that you can maximize by law,
Yeah.
I mean, how can we, you know, what can we do to actually,
Well, it'll be,
can some of that money go to the land bank, do you think? I mean, or, I know we already get money from delinquent taxes for the land bank.
yeah, I mean, I think that my understanding on speaking to people that know more about this than I do, that I'm stuck with paying it down, although it's gonna go down pretty quick at 692.
Right.
We don't collect nearly that. I mean, it's basically 400,000 a year,
Right.
500 is the most, so we're gonna, that's a temporary fix doing this much of it, and it'll just continue to go down.
Right. Well, yeah, if you're spending 200 more than
Mm-hmm.
we're taking in,
You
it'd
know
be
what,
about
that-
10 years.
That budget's probably gonna go up with our new,
What?
the expense will probably go up for delinquent tax collecting with our new approach towards real estate under the land bank.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Cause we're gonna
Well-
try and acquire properties, so then what'll happen is in some cases, abandoned properties and stuff like that.
Yeah, if we're using are we, I don't think the land bank's using the prosecutor's office, are we?
Well, they're collecting delinquent
Yeah.
taxes, so
Yeah.
that'd be part of it.
Yeah, but
Yes.
so then you're working with Miller, right? to
Someone
get-
sits in the land bank hearings
What?
from our office all the
Right.
time.
Right. So maybe,
Yeah,
Maybe
they
that's-
pay us.
That's gonna be a negative impact.
what, we pay you?
Land Bank does. We have a contract with
Say
them
it,
for
yeah.
10,000 a year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's a flat rate?
Yeah.
That's okay then.
Yeah.
We're good. Can you cut that a little?
No, I'm trying to figure, no, no. I'm
We
trying to
don't,
go
we
the- I'm
don't
trying to go the other way.
charge
I
them
want
more, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Charge them more.
I'm trying to cut what we gotta pay them a year.
No, but I'm trying to figure out how to, you know, we're just trying to get us down to where we can at least, get some of that special revenue funds and offset the general fund ask. And it looks like you're already doing it, so.
Yeah,
that's
we
something
increased it
to-
quite a bit. I think we spent 152,000 last year.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, cause you guys, I think, it sounds like, I know you worked hard on this,
Mhm.
to get it down to where it should be.
I
You
mean-
notice we actually put if you notice, we added the healthcare. It's
Correct.
kinda hard, you know, next year will be a better look at between year one, or 25 and 26, or 24 and 25.
And if you look at the salary accounts, which was the main thing you guys talked about in the commissioners meeting
Right.
that led to this, I'm down 5% on everything. The only thing that's raising it at all, the 1.55%, is hospitalization and life insurance.
Mhm.
We didn't replace several employees that were leaving at the end of the year. reorganized the juvenile system to try to cover those things and try to have the ability to do both criminal and juvenile from the same set to try to offset. So that's
Right.
part of what we've been able to do.
But that was our overall process, was that, you were here last year, but we, in 25, in the budget for 25, we funded the ask,
Right.
okay? And we funded it, including the hospitalization, in each department or elected's budget. And we did that on purpose to establish the benchmark. And then we asked everybody to try and consider to stay on the 25 budget for 26. We didn't want to penalize anybody. We didn't want to say, oh, here's your hospitalization and now you're over budget. So that's why we compared 24 to 25 with and without the hospitalization. We just want it to be managed better, and so we pushed it out to those who have firsthand knowledge. And then the move from 25 to 26, we had asked everybody to stay, within that budget. So we're gonna be looking at any increase over the 25 budget, and that includes there was, you had a secondary budget of,
750.
750,000 when you came into office, okay?
Okay.
So that number is our bogey for 26, and while everybody gets raises and stuff, we were hoping that there would be a look at organization to figure out how do we stay on budget, even though we need to allow for raises in hospitalization and wages. And of course, when you raise wages, you raise PERS.
Correct.
So, we understand those things go on, but I guess our drive is to hope for some mechanization or automation of things that would allow us to, because everybody got new toys during the ARPA money, so we're hoping we could start putting those to work and start looking at staff economies.
Well, they're already doing it with the conversant and.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
correct.
understand,
Which is-
conversant is in here, that there's $209,000 for hardening the system
Where's
that
that
are
at?
built into this.
I'm
I think that comes under the computer system software.
looking at equipment, computer, there it is, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put in there, that's, okay, cause that's what, Casey has a little note there, high, like,
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
That would explain,
that,
yeah.
yeah, that's,
that
209,000 of it is actually the conversant hardening of the system.
okay. So Casey, is that right, to put it through them or through us, do you think?
No, that's the way we kind of structured to make sure that, that way their true cost, their share is put under their budget.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be the way.
Which is,
That-
okay. which
Now,
is-
I guess the question is that 209, is that a one-time upfront capital expense, or will that be an ongoing annual expense that you guys will see? I guess that's the question I have about that particular
About all of
expense.
them, I think we're trying to get that.
Is that
narrowed.
a
Some of
one-
this is gonna be firewall and equipment,
Alright.
and I think some of it is paying for whatever the cost comes from them as well.
Because obviously going through the process ourselves, I know there are some upfront one-time expenses where you
Right.
got to buy the new equipment, and then
Right.
there's other maintenance, licensing that's going to be annual expenses. So
Yeah, it's a combination of both of them. I don't know how often they're gonna wanna update a firewall or anything like that, because like Jeff, I'm not the computer person.
Right.
Wouldn't that normally be under one bucket for countywide? Because
well,
if we're getting
that's-
buckets from different agents.
Well, that's what we're working on right now. We'd like to have an IT department where all that goes under IT.
We were gonna take it out, but it seemed like then I was not gonna be bringing up that money's gonna be spent.
That's the discussion we're now
Right.
having.
So that's
wait.
part of the rearrangement.
Todd just popped out of the.
Yes, he did.
This is an additional, this is to harden their network to bring it up to CGIS requirements.
Oh, okay.
It is
okay.
not fully part of the.
Is that part of the conversant?
Yes.
They're helping.
So there's
Oh, it's
some
not part of the
additional
conversant.
cost.
Okay.
This, I don't think, everything from that's an ongoing expense is rolled up into the big contract that we have.
Under our IT
with
budget.
them.
So all right.
Yes.
So that answers the question.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
This is more of like a one-time expense,
Right.
and then those licenses, maintenance agreements that we talked about, those
Will
would be
come
rolled
under-
to our IT, the
They're-
main IT.
The only big thing that they'll have is their Microsoft licensing. They're upgrading their tenant,
The
the
365.
365
Yeah.
side. That would be an ongoing expense they
So
would
it's,
end up.
yeah, which is, it's an ugly way to get there, but once we get there, then that will be the norm.
We'll-
Which should have been
yes,
done,
yes.
God knows
Right.
how long ago.
It's gonna
so.
be some timeframe.
Yeah.
This is
And
actually our cost.
Again, I'm not.
Yeah, our cost is 209,934.
For the conversion is 20,000, so
Right.
that's managed firewall and Mimecast, but we have like Matrix in our
Oh,
budget,
yeah.
which is 130,000 a year.
Matrix,
And
okay.
then the Microsoft 365 is 51,000 a year.
So,
And then we have like, Adobe and PortView.
Right, then they got all the other
Yeah.
miscellaneous. Because the bottom line is the firewall, the building of the firewall is something we want to at least control, but you guys know more what you need by statute and what you have.
But only
to-
20K is the conversion upgrade.
So the conversion upgrade was the 52,000 that we had asked for. I think we did that on a purchase order this year. And then, for the managed firewall and the Mimecast, that was 20,000.
Okay.
In my ca- okay.
And then 365, the upgraded is 51,000.
So what,
So a big chunk of it is Matrix.
okay, and that's under, you got that all under computer system software.
And Matrix
Yes.
is, that's
Hundred and thirty
peculiar to
thousand.
you guys, that's really not the rest of the world.
Correct.
Okay.
Well,
most of the
think
states, I mean, most of the
police
counties, but,
departments.
Yeah, but
It's
prosecutor's
for
office.
prosecutor's office.
yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, because that's one of the things we're gonna wrestle with, but the conversant part of handling the firewall is likely gonna fall to a lump sum under the commissioners, because I don't see that we're gonna have a way of apportioning that cost that makes any sense.
Right, right.
Okay? You can't say, well, gee, you have 17 employees, so you get 17 X number, because it really has nothing to do with employees, okay? It just has to do with protecting, all of our interaction. What kind of staffing costs do you have for IT at the current time?
I believe it's 189,000. What do we have on IT? I think it was 185. I know it's less than the average.
175,000.
186, yeah. And the average is around 100. We're paying about 87, 795.58 for the two people. It's about 100.
So you have two people,
I do.
and what is the rationale for two?
Well,
What do they work on?
one of them that is in IT helps set up for trials, work through the courtroom stuff, and does that, and also backs up Brian for when he leaves. Otherwise, Brian has way too much vacation time. Because Brian won't leave.
Brian can't take a day off.
Yeah, Brian. So, and we've tried to build redundancies in the system that were gonna be useful to us along the way as well. So it's somebody that's being trained along the way. He's been very helpful on dealing with a lot of the phone calls and some of the other things for trials, so he has a dual purpose with the technology.
Okay, but it's basically all software and data related.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because that's another place that we're looking at is that, we want to get those hardware and cybersecurity costs out of the budgets and into the commissioner's budget.
What about the, what do you call it, the HR? Are you guys doing all your HR in, or are you considering going over to the shared services? The main core of it that we do in the county, we're doing in the county right now.
Well, it kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I still have Christine does a lot more than just HR, so she also represents the health department and other things and our contract people, so it's work that comes out of different people, but it's just a portion of their work. If
Yeah,
that helps you.
Yeah.
Well, cost-wise, that sounds like it's where it needs to be. But
Right.
Right.
we are gonna be coming out with, kind of like a work plan on the certain activities that we would like to see managed at the local level where the information occurs. But when we get into policy decisions, even though you folks are lawyers, and not everybody has lawyers on their staff, we still would like to centralize the macro decisions like family leave and workman's comp and those discipline, those types of issues. We would like to centralize those so that there's consistency across all county employees are getting treated the same.
And I think we had the prosecutor's office when Pionoski was here, they actually developed it. You guys are, the office helped us build the countywide, well, really it's commissioners, county personnel manual. And so that's what we're trying to get to, is a countywide personnel manual, and then having an HR department, even though you guys do your own onboarding, you guys would know which lawyer you wanna work and hire.
Correct.
But we wanna make sure that everything is consistent throughout the county, so that there's no missteps, and open this up so that you have to hire more lawyers to protect us from lawsuits.
We don't have a dog in the hunt for, you know.
Day-to-day.
Yeah.
For the day-to-day, and even the macro issues, the only thing is the reality is that if somebody decides to litigate whatever happened to them, right at the bottom of that list is the county commissioners. And if we're gonna have to be responsible for it, we'd like to have some control to make sure that there's consistency and minimize those, you know, because, you know, many of these policies are subject to individual perception and biases, and what we'd like to do is see all those made consistently. So we're moving in that direction, and we just want to make sure that, you know, if you had a full-time position for HR, would it be necessary? And secondly, you know, can we pick up some money there that you could divert towards other things?
Right now I do all the onboarding and offboarding and some of like the HR housekeeping stuff, so, and I'm fiscal too on top of it. So
Okay.
we wouldn't really lose an employee if we were.
But maybe there's something else you could pick up, and then that goes back through to us.
Yeah.
It's not cutting out a job position there, it's freeing up positions so that if something else that doesn't need that work, we wouldn't have to necessarily replace that
Right,
position.
yeah, we're not, yeah.
You know, we know that there's expertise in there, and we're not trying to get rid of the expertise.
Just looking at consistency with the policy itself, that your office helped create.
Okay.
I'm looking at contractual services. That kinda has a little, Casey has a little mark there. Is that for like special prosecutors over the year? Is that what that's for?
No, it's for things like LexisNexis, Clear that the investigators use to find people, and some of the matrix comes out of that. Those
Oh,
are, those
okay.
are things that actually, we use to survive at this point.
So how's that work with like,
Matrix keeps going up on us.
all right, but I'm just trying to figure out, how do it's kinda hard to budget when you don't know if you need a special prosecutor, right? Is that
Most of the time,
Where's that money come from?
let's put it this way, we usually don't pay special prosecutors.
Okay.
I'm just on the hook for the next time one comes up and they need somebody.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, it's mostly mutual aid.
Oh, okay, cause I was like wondering, cause you know, you
No.
don't believe everything you read in the paper, but I heard there was one going around, but I didn't wanna.
No,
I didn't
yeah,
wanna
no,
know
no.
if we were gonna pay for it ourselves, so that's how it
No.
works?
Yeah.
You get another, so like, the county prosecutor next door and say, hey, look, help me out?
Mhm. I did one for Baxter, and Baxter's
Oh, okay.
getting one for me
okay,
now.
Okay,
So
I was
yeah.
wondering, I thought that's what that was, I thought, well, man.
So that's in your budget already. so
Well, no, it's not
that's-
even in their budget, cause
No.
really.
Well,
he's-
it's in your budget because you're getting paid
Right.
for what you're doing,
Right.
but there's no additional budget for it.
yeah,
Correct.
Well, there's no additional funds, I guess, you need for that kinda stuff then. It's
No.
It's just using assets that you already have and.
The additional funds that I can't really plan for are things that we pay out of LETA, which are law enforcement. They got rid of $85,000 of it before I walked in the door. Those are the things we use to actually bring witnesses back. We don't come over here every time asking for plane tickets or anything like that. We spend that money on if we need experts, say it's a capital case and you need to get yourself somebody that's a mitigation specialist or something like that. So we use those for that and don't ask you guys for the money, actually.
How is that funded?
That's based upon forfeitures from police officers, and depending on how it goes, we get a percentage of it, and if it's a RICO, we would get half of it, but there isn't much there right now.
But it's not general fund expenditure?
No, it's not general fund, but it's another one we can only use for certain things.
Okay.
So we use it for those things to back up the trials without having to come over and say, can we get money for this? Can we get money for that?
And those, these are one of those accounts that are outside of the county
Yeah.
coffers, that are in a separate checking account?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it just got a whole bunch of rules that
Yep.
before you can use it.
So we don't have, we don't know.
So, yeah, so that wouldn't show up on any of the data, all the data you have here are just specific county funds that are and the county treasury. Those funds are separate outside of,
But when they spend those checks, does it still go through the auditor's office? Huh?
no.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
So that's why I got drained, do you think?
yeah, and they were allowed to do it. They gave it to police departments and that,
Oh,
so
did
it was
they?
law enforcement
Okay.
trust account, so they are permitted to do what they did. It's not that it was illegal, just made it a
How
lot.
much, yeah, it makes it tougher. How
I
much
think
is
there's,
it?
I think there was like 45 grand left in that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it said charges to services. One of the other things that we're looking at as we go over everybody's budget is, you know, what do you charge for? Because the charges to services are, they've grown at a much lower rate than your expenses have. So what is it you charge for, and is there an opportunity there to grow that?
I think that's, again, 4E and 4D is part of that.
For the general fund one, we have a contract with Carlisle Township, mental health, developmental disabilities, land bank, Lorain County Public Health, the Mars Board, and Stormwater.
Not large amounts for the most part.
No.
Well, and most of those are general fund accounts, so it's merely bookkeeping. If you're charging them,
Right.
they're paying you out of the same general fund.
Now, there's only
The
certain,
Mars Board and Carlisle would be the only two exceptions to that.
correct. Yeah, there was a lot of places we couldn't ask for additional funds from because
only 30,000.
statutorily they are there, but some of them have more things between them, like Veteran Services Commission, the way I read the statute, I can't ask for money from them, separate and apart.
Really?
Really.
And they've got active cases all the time, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But can they pay for their own?
Not through me, and I'm statutorily there.
Okay.
It's, some of them, like, let's say, home rule,
Yeah.
they can be charged more. Mars Board would do things, not just in the county potentially, it could be a greater thing than that, we're allowed to do certain things. I know the health department, we were permitted to, I think they're at 55,000 is what they're supplying us in
Because
addition.
the health department is self-sustaining.
Yeah.
They don't get any general fund money.
So,
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt for them to try to get it.
Are there any other new revenue sources you can think of?
no, mine's not a job full of revenues. So the only other one we have in here is a grant for victim witness, and they have not upped us in that amount for more than several years. The other grant that we had is no longer being offered. That was to do sex cases. That ends this November, so.
Okay.
Said I've got the budget up on.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, boy.
I know, that's just what we
That's,
gave
that's what you
guys.
have.
Yeah, we had
I was gonna say,
Yes. You know what I find exciting is that a lot of people are watching these. So
Yeah.
people are engaged on the budget, which is like rare. I don't know if it's county employees wondering what's going on. I don't know if it's,
One
you
of
know.
these
but
people
I'm
is
glad-
definitely
but
me.
that's why
People
we
get
do
nervous.
this.
That's the reason I came, yeah.
most of these things a lot of this is a temporary fix to try to make it through things. I mean, I said it's like putting a Band-Aid on a,
An amputee?
yes, pretty much. A chainsaw injury is what I was gonna
Yeah,
go for.
okay.
It might slow the bleeding down a little bit. Eventually, we'll bleed out.
Yeah, well. Well, the main thing is that's why we put it on the screen because people are watching and they can screenshot it and look at it.
I mean, I think in the end, we were able to get it to 3% on the general fund portion of it.
It's gone.
Is,
The and the personnel.
yes. Well, 1.5%, including the hospitalization and all that.
Yeah.
So, and the majority of that is hospitalization. Like I said, we're down about 5%, to 5.87% on PERS and Medicare and stuff like that. And part of that's based upon that I moved positions around. I had younger prosecutors. As you know, I didn't get my full budget until June of this year. So, right now, they make less, but my training costs go up because they're much younger people. And then to keep them later on, we'll have to deal with it and see where we're at then.
Okay, and could you, you know, what's in the supplies account that went up 35% that's not related to the computer software and the hardware?
That's probably paper that we have to pay for now out of our budget, and then we accounted for postage.
You mean
Because
for now, you never did before for
we didn't.
paper?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
really?
one of those expenses that we've divvied out essentially to the,
Oh, really?
to- yeah,
So what, we were paying it all the time out of our?
out of our our
Correct.
office services.
You didn't see
Budget.
that truckload of paper that arrived once a year and got stored off the old commissioner's room?
Yeah, I saw those tree huggers protesting, that's all I saw. so.
Yeah, so that, and then, you know, raising cost of supplies.
Right.
Everything's going up.
And again, the postage, that's another thing that, the whole mail thing is that the post office wasn't doing what they get paid to do. We were paying county employees to do that, and we needed to shift that back. And then secondly, on the postage cost, the only ones that can manage it are the people that generate the postage. So we know that you have to pay it, we know that you can't, but we're just, you know, managing it is all we ask. 'Cause before it was in the commissioner's budget, we didn't have the ability to manage postage for other people.
No, I mean, I think you can see we're quite a bit down from our first ask in July or June. But that was sitting down with Kaylee and other people and going through things line by line to figure out what we could do.
That's the goal,
So,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
I see
Is it-
consistency starting to happen with your next year's budget with, you know, not increases on, you know, quite a few of them there, which,
And that's all we're asking for is, can we do this conversationally to avoid where the commissioners have to sit there and go, here's a cut and take it or leave it. We're trying not to do that.
Nope, and
so
that's
we're asking
why,
you to find ways to help us.
and we did.
Well, one of the things I did talk to Tony about is, you know, with our, Tony, or with our clerk of courts.
Tommy Orlando.
I know, Tom. I hate that.
Tony
I do that all the time, sorry.
Yeah.
And here's Dawn.
Tom, if you're listening,
Yeah,
I'm
here's
sorry.
Don. But
Tie
you
a
know
yellow
what,
ribbon around that old oak
if
tree.
the clerk of courts does receive that kind of money, you know, with fees, I'm wondering,
His was auto title, right on that one?
yeah, maybe it should be used for, you know, the prosecutor's office, any shortages that we might have, so.
I mean,
Those are the type of discussions I was trying to have.
I'm less employees. I am up about 60% in jury trials from their highest year that they've done things. We're holding people responsible at this point. We're probably at 20% up on indictments, which all cost more, and I've got brand-new judges and have had a lot of trials for that reason. So we're trying to bring along younger prosecutors. I think as you guys have talked about, it's important to have a plan if something goes wrong. Right now, prosecutors around the country are, especially the state, they're commodities. They'll poach right off you from a neighboring county if they can, because finding people that are trained, I mean, we're paying about $5,000 less than what the average is, I think, looking at ZipRecruiter for the state average on almost every category.
That can be dangerous though, too.
I know, but.
Because the cost of training them and going there can exceed what the going rate is.
Correct. We've done a lot of self-training and tried to lend, like Billy Joe, when we had things going on to get people back up to CJIS compliance and all that. Tried to, with anything that needed help, we've been more than willing to help pitch in.
Well, we're all part of that, you know, there was a mandate for change, and change to do better. Now, they didn't give us a mandate that came with more money, it was an unfunded mandate.
Correct.
Typically are in the government.
We're all here because people weren't happy with the status quo, and they wanted us to grab a hold of this. So correcting ills of the past does cost money, and we're prepared to help make that defense with those of you that are doing it, because there's been hundreds of cans that got kicked down the road, and we're trying to collect those and take care of them.
Yeah, I mean.
There was also something with gun specifications that it was either the court or the prosecutor's office wasn't pursuing.
Yeah, there were a lot of pleas on gun specs. We've pretty much stopped that at this point. Those are mandatory time cases, and it affects everything in the county. I mean, I was in the meetings in Lorain when they made the parental accomplice law. It's not anything I have to enforce because it's not a statute, it's just a codified ordinance. But We're trying to work with them to try to lower the amount of things that we're gonna need on, but
What was
guns
the
are a problem.
financial impact of the gun specification? It seemed like, I
Well,
thought the sheriff said something about it impacted his revenue or something?
I may impact his revenue, but for us, it's mandatory time, which it affects the state mandate. Instead of a judge being able to put anybody on a community control sanction, once there's a gun spec, whether it's 1, 3, 5, or 6-year specs, that becomes mandatory time, and we believe the case law would support that the underlying crime becomes mandatory as well, because you have to go to do the gun spec time first. Thereby, I guess it's more of a drain on the state, but these are the most dangerous of the dangerous, and shootings certainly aren't gonna help people with property
Well, I know
values
what
and
it
growth.
was. It was probation department, more of the stuff, when you removed the gun spec, more things became eligible for probation.
Right.
It sounds like a good thing, but it also means these are some high-risk probation people. It takes a
Yeah.
lot of money and management to manage them.
No, when I ran, I said I wasn't interested in dealing gun specs or fentanyl cases, because there were a lot of people dying in the county, and I thought that was my job to try to stop it.
Very good.
Very good.
Any questions for us?
No, it was my understanding this was the first meeting, we're gonna go for there, so we'll digest everything, and I'm sure we'll keep playing with numbers, but this pretty much was as far as we could go. As I told Commissioner Moore the one time, even as a prosecutor, I wasn't the person that went back and forth when we were bargaining. I always believed that just wasted a lot of time. I just tried to go to the bottom of what I could live with.
Well, we got
Nice.
your easy accommodations. Now we'll go for the tough ones.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thanks.
guys.
Thank you for coming in.
Oh, appreciate
Okay, we're
it.
done.
Nice work on your accounting, it looks good.
Thank you.
I'd like to take credit for
We're
that,
done.
but I don't add that well. I'm